What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that title was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it in the title. Got a response to viral video by Nick Shirley exposing Somali daycare fraud. The Trump administration is surging FBI agents into Minneapolis, which is pretty nice. Tim Walz responds to the expose, of widespread Somali fraud. Check it out.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community is to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention,
get the
like this
man.
is something brand new.
Oh my, bro. So you literally sit there and lie, and you're sitting there panicking. You can definitely tell that he's panicking because of how he's treating the situation. He's sitting there panicking, and for him to do that and just say that, oh, Donald Trump, you always do that. They always love to put Donald Trump in there. And they do that for the simple fact because they know people don't like Donald Trump because of what they put out and the brainwashing that they do. So they're obviously going to say, oh, yeah, Donald Trump. As soon as they hear the name, oh, yeah, it's because of Donald Trump. There we go. It's because of Donald Trump. Especially people that don't know anything that's going on and not even actually paying attention. I'm telling you. And I'm not making up excuses for him whatsoever. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that's brainwashed. A lot of people that's not understanding at all. His oversight chair, James Comer, announces Minnesota officials will answer for the mass Somali fraud. Check it out right here.
Now the federal government is getting involved here. House Oversight Committee, it's widening its probe, inviting state lawmakers to come testify and other federal departments to investigate. So let's bring in now Chairman James Comer. He leads the charge over at Oversight, and he joins us now. Good morning to you. Tell us about who you're bringing in, who you want to see on Capitol Hill, and what questions do you want to ask them?
Well, the most important people are the state whistleblowers, the state employees who put that tweet out that we all are familiar with a few weeks ago that alerted America to the massive fraud. These state employees also allege that they had warned both Governor Walz and Attorney General Ellison for years that this fraud was occurring, and yet nothing was taking place. Exactly. So we're going to bring the state employees in. We're going to get their sworn testimony. We appreciate their bravery in coming forward. We're also going to bring in state lawmakers and Minnesota mayors because the walls are caving in on Tim Walz. Mm-hmm. This massive amount of fraud is affecting and impacting every citizen of Minnesota because they're having to cut services because so much of the money for social programs was wasted and defrauded by this Somali population. So these are the people we're going to bring in. We're going to try to identify who was responsible for this. We're going to try to identify banks that we can subpoena their bank records so we can follow the money to see how much was taken, who took it, and then who do we need to hold accountable, and hopefully we'll have some criminal referrals at the end of the investigation.
What is so fascinating about this, Chairman Comer, is how no one knew. Or did they know? This is an op-ed from the Wall Street Journal here, asking, I think, a pretty fair question. When nearly $250 million can vanish from one state program before anyone truly notices, taxpayers are justified in asking who was supposed to be minding the store. The uncomfortable answer is that no one elected by the people held that responsibility or held the mandate and clout to stop the scheme. Your whip, Tom Emmer, says there's no way that Governor Tim Walz didn't know or somebody in his administration didn't have an inkling that there was something going on. Do you agree with that? And how do you prove that?
I agree completely. Look, Tom Emmer was a state legislator in Minnesota before he came here. He has the pulse of Minnesota. He communicates regularly with Minnesota state legislators and Minnesota state employees. They've been talking about this for years. There was a congressman that came in from Minnesota when I came in 9 years ago to Congress named Jason Lewis. He was talking about the massive fraud from the Somali population 9 years ago. So this is something that's been talked about in Minnesota for a long time. The Minnesota media is very liberal, so they're never going to write anything bad about a beloved Democrat like Tim Walz or Keith Ellison. So finally, the state employees have stepped forward publicly and talked about this massive amount of fraud. And I can tell you from our preliminary discussions with these state employees, it is a significant amount of money. And remember, Minnesota isn't a big state. So when you're talking about billions of dollars for a small state, that is a significant percentage of the budget for welfare in that state.
Should the governor resign? Are you calling on him to resign?
Well, not yet. He deserves due process, and we're going to give him due process. One of the things he said in the last 48 hours was that the Oversight Committee didn't need to worry about this investigation, that he would take care of it. I mean, no one in America believes that. That is a joke. We are going to investigate this. The key to a good congressional investigation is having whistleblowers. And fortunately for us, we have some state employees who have bravely stepped forward. We're going to get them under oath, and they're going to tell us everything they know, and we're going to go from there. Wherever the investigation leads us, we will go. We're going to try to do it as rapidly as possible. But I think at the end of the day, the American taxpayers, and especially the taxpayers in Minnesota, are going to be sick at their stomach, and Tim Walz is going to have a lot of explaining to do.
One thing about it, I want people to see as big as this. I want it to stay like this. Meaning, when it all comes about, and I know for a fact, seeing how bad things are when it comes to this, seeing how much fraud is going around. Like I said, and like I'll continue to say, I don't want it to be swept up on the rug. I want this to be there so people can actually realize. There's a lot of people that's obviously, coming out, making videos, making posts, and actually realizing, what they're doing, especially people in Minnesota. But I don't want this to be swept up on the rug. I want this to be something, again, that they set more of an example. They set an example, and it's more so out there. It's more so out there, way more. It shouldn't take just Nick Shirley, and by all means, there's no, disrespect to him or anything like that, because I definitely appreciate Nick Shirley. But all I'm saying is I feel like there should be way more, way more. Those who have, that power to do way more, and to actually investigate and do what's needed. I truly feel that way. And again, I mean, people cannot, they don't have to, agree with me, but I truly feel as if they really need to get on top of it. They need to get on top of it and get things done instead of, talking about it. Oh, well, we're going to do this and we feel this. Actually get out there and do something. Nick Shirley did. Why can't you? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Shows you how corrupt things are. If y'all didn't watch my last video, and I'll show partly of, the video, but literally have it right here. Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis had basically the number is listed. Now the number, I'm pretty sure the number is now it's disabled. I don't know what's going on, but it rings, and then it rings directly to the office of Governor Tim Walz. Y'all can hear it right here. I'm only gonna play part of this video. I played more of the video on my last video I posted earlier tonight, but check it out.
So guys, this is absolutely mind-blowing. So I was watching the most recent video by Nick Shirley exposing these daycare centers. Now, they're going daycare to daycare, and the next one that they go to is called Sweet Angel Childcare. This is where they show up to. And this is the business right here. Sweet Angel Childcare in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, listen to where this phone number goes to when you call this childcare center.
And I'm only going to play part of it, y'all.
Just wait for it.
Thank you for contacting the office of Governor Tim Walz and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. Our office is located at 130.
And there's multiple people that have called this number. I'm telling y'all, and it's definitely insane. Y'all can go check this out. Benny Johnson actually posted this, so y'all can go check it out for y'all selves if y'all want to. But it's definitely insane. Definitely insane. This post right here, Sarah Gonzalez. Again, this is something that I feel as if people probably won't agree with, but I definitely do. Check it out.
You might say, but Sarah, there are some people who were born in Somalia that are good. Maybe there are a handful of good people. To that, I would say, I don't care. It's not worth it. No one is entitled to just be in my country. I don't care that you might be able to point to a handful of people who really, really, really have good intentions when they come here. If the overwhelming majority of them come here and commit crime and commit fraud schemes and are tied to terror groups and rise to the level of Congresswoman and then still complain about how oppressed she is, Ilan. I don't care that you can point to a handful of good people. I don't care. You don't deserve to be here. You are not entitled to be in my country because you want to. You might say, well, Sarah.
And one thing about this, and I don't want anybody to feel some type of way but I truly, truly feel as if this is something that is truly, truly, real. I feel like so many people hate to hear the truth, but it's the truth. It's literally the truth. You do have individuals, that come here, and want, and I've said, individuals, coming here, doing it the right way and wanting, it better. But I truly feel as if, and it's me personally, things need to get cleaned up. I truly feel that way. I don't want, I'm going to have people that feel some type of way, but I feel like things need to definitely get cleaned up. You already have crime already in general, but you also have added crime, fraud. You have so many things that's going on in America that it's completely disgusting. It's completely disgusting. I don't see how people are wanting something like this. It's truly sad. It's truly sickening. And honestly, I'm sick of it. I'm telling y'all. Check it out, Fox News.
Your reaction to this misspelled learning center with no children in it and a $4 million price tag?
Well, it's amazing to me that a 23-year-old journalist, a YouTuber, who's now got over 80 million views on this thing, found more in a matter of hours than Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, have found in 7 years, Mike. I got to tell you, we've known in Minnesota about the daycare fraud for a decade. Keith Ellison is our current Attorney General. His predecessor, Lori Swanson, was actually investigating the daycare fraud and prosecuting back in 2017 and 18. As soon as Ellison became the Attorney General and Walz became the governor, all of that stopped. And now you see the result. Billions of dollars, it has been alleged, that they have fraudulently built out of Minnesota. There was a housing stabilization program that was created in 2020. It's through the Medicaid program, a different one other than daycare. They spent $161 million. It was estimated it was going to be $2 million a year, Mike. From 2020 until they shut it down in October, it was $161 million. This daycare fraud, there's one woman in particular who created a fake daycare and built $14 million on her own. This thing is huge. Tim Walz is absolutely singing a false song when he says that Republicans are doing this. He has not done anything to prosecute or investigate fraud. I'm going to tell you, this Kash Patel put out that they're investigating this. They've got a whole bunch of pending people that could be indicted. And what does Tim Walz do? He puts a post out on his Twitter that says, Happy Catter Day, with a picture of a cat. In our local paper, these guys are complicit. They put out the biggest stories of 2025, and guess what, Mike? Not one mention of fraud. This thing is...
I'm telling y'all. And it's truly, truly no lies detected. literally put out a post of saying Happy Catterday, with a picture of his cat. I'm not gonna lie, this is wild. This is wild. I wouldn't even lie to y'all. It says Tim Walz and this fraud. This is a post by Nick Shirley. If y'all not following Nick Shirley, definitely go follow Nick Shirley. Pretty sure he's gaining followers. Obviously, he's almost at 1 million, and doing his thing. I'm not even gonna lie. Definitely. Says Tim Walz and his fraudsters have taken down the child care licensing page. Says at Tim Walz, what do you have to hide? So it is, removed. I'm telling y'all, shut it down completely. And you got Tim Walz. He knows they caving in on him. I'm not even gonna lie. He knows it. I'm telling y'all, it is insane. Definitely insane. Says his last post says, I've authorized the National Guard to support emergency winter storm operations as we work dangerous conditions on the roads. Grateful to those who are answering the call to help our neighbors and get drivers home safely. Eric Daugherty said, can you authorize literally anyone to go ask those Somali daycares where the children are? Just say you hate Minnesotans. I'm telling y'all, definitely insane. Y'all see it right here. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit that subscribe. I definitely appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody. Catch y'all next one.